Hello and welcome back to the Wicked Wild Podcast, a feral podcast for the uncivilized horror fans. And this week, we were tasked with picking up every stitch. Oh no, must be the season of the shit. We've got another cage match tonight. We've got another one in the Rock of Cages. And that's all thanks to my buddy John up in Michigan. We were just talking about it before we started recording. He and I are actually sharing a state today. I'm up in the great state of Michigan, not in the bustling metropolis of Detroit. I'm further into the farmland. But how's it going, John?
It's going. You're in our state's capital today.
That's right, and it feels like a capital. They're very proud of that. A lot of things here are very themed capital. So
yeah,
even the airport.
Okay, good for them.
Yeah. So I'm going to channel my inner Nicolas Cage, kind of getting character since this is a period piece. I'm going to put on all the weight of all of the research he did.
Excellent.
To come across as a medieval crusader and ask you a question. So here goes.
Nice.
Forsooth, young adventurer, my party is weary from long travels and is in need of levity and libation. Give me your recommended snack and drink pairing for someone who watches this movie. What do you think?
Oh man, that's a good one. This is a very specific impression, but I liked it.
It's on point. I'll put it that way.
Oh, it is. And for the knights of the cage table, because we can't have a round table. It's got to be a cage table today.
Which highlighted heavily in this movie. Cage. It was all about the cages.
The cages.
Yeah,
lots of cages.
Yeah.
This is a special movie. But for this special movie, I would recommend having a nice English brown ale with a big turkey leg.
Ooh. A bit like the Disney style.
Like the Disney.
The ridiculous, basically Renaissance fair.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Disney World for some reason. Like I never really understood it.
Yeah.
But
these baseball bat sized turkey legs. That's for the dads. I'll just put it
People just walk around. It's fucking so weird. Anyway.
That's a paternal lollipop. That's what that is. And then that's a beautiful voice you hear is my buddy Jamie up in New Jersey. How's it going, Jamie?
It's going all right. But wait, before you even ask me anything, are you two wearing the same color shirt? That's question part one. Because
it's Michigan State Spartans, Mike.
Wait.
Sweet.
Wow,
we're all green.
Holy shit, guys.
Is that a first? Like
how
all
might be a first.
That? I mean, mine's kind of like hidden, but still, I mean, I could pull this a little bit.
Exactly.
A little,
That's impressive.
You felt it in the force.
I was just like, oh yeah, we all just like, oh man. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I got
for those
distracted.
That are just listening, we just all realized we're wearing our green tees or green shirts. Jamie's isn't a
green
tee,
bras. I don't know.
And the funny thing is, it looks like, at least from what I'm seeing, it's all like that. We're all wearing like a mint green. It's almost the exact
that's
same
why.
color.
That's why I asked if you guys were. Yeah, okay, because mine is too. Yeah. Anyway, sorry guys.
That was important. I'm glad we got that settled because now we know the energy is right for tonight. We're on.
Right. So instead of the Wicked Whisper, we're going to do the wardrobe check.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to do. So, Jamie, my question for you was, when you watched this movie, were you also like me feeling really sorry for our buddy Ron Perlman in this? Because he looked like he was just
that he had WTF to be in this, or that.
What is this movie? I mean,
listen, he didn't have to take the role.
Exactly. He took the money.
I'm guessing. Yeah. He took the money. Yeah, he took the money, and he probably has no idea. He doesn't even remember this movie exists. When you're in his long catalog of movies, he forgets that he even did this one.
It is just funny as I'm watching it, like when he and Cage have dialogue back and forth.
Oh my God.
Cage will do one of his Cage dialogue, heavily affected, but still very American lines, and the camera will go to Ron, and he'll be like already squinting at him. Like, I don't think that was acting. I don't think he was reacting to the stuff because of what the dialogue was saying. I'll just put it that way.
Oh God.
But God bless him. I mean, after talked about Pan's Labyrinth a few weeks ago. I see him on, and all I can see is Hellboy and
Yeah.
how much he did in that movie. And then this one, he is just walking through it. He's just
Phoning
waiting
it
for it
in.
to be
Yeah,
over.
I can't. I don't know.
Well, as you may have figured out by now, especially if you're on YouTube, we don't have our buddy Eli. He had another week that he just got busy. It's just that this time of year,
He's just abandoned us. It's okay.
yeah, pretty much. I'm slow rolling it to the audience. I'm letting them down easily that he died. Spoiler alert. But,
Wow.
yeah, he lost the battle with the armed monkeys. Let's just get the whole story out there, and got into a bad weapons deal, and his luck ran out. No, seriously, he's supposed to be back with us for the next in John's line, the finale of the Rock of Cages that John's prepared for us, and it will be a good one to have him back on. I almost thought, and I mentioned it in our last one when we did the Wicker Man, that I missed having Eli's energy, and then I thought back on it and remembered Antlers. And I'm like, maybe it's for the best. Nothing against Eli at all, but for his own sanity.
With everything he's got going on, it's probably for the best. It's for the best that he's not sitting through this.
Especially back to back. I mean, both eras and subject matter that are very precious to Eli. It might have killed him.
Maybe.
But so we don't have a Wicked Whisper this week. I didn't even look anything up. That's not my job. That's not within my job description. So if there is some world ending, which I'm sure there is some world ending paranormal something happening somewhere. So just bite down and we'll all walk through it together. I'm sure it'll end the way it's going to end. We're not going to do anything about it anyway. So that leads us right into our movie review this week. And as we do, we're going to do our on the fly synopsis this week to kind of figure out who has to give us a description of this movie, which will be a challenge whoever gets picked this week. But again, I was chosen last week, so I've pulled myself. I can't ask myself a question. So John gets a week off this week. So it's between me and Jamie. John.
Oh, fuck me.
And unfortunately, it's going to be obvious which is which. So we'll know who John hates when he makes a selection.
Okay. Wow.
So
strong.
So John, if you were Hagamar, you know, the guide, quote unquote.
Are we supposed to know names of people in this movie?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think they even knew names. I don't think they referenced each other by name very much.
Except Bayman. We all know Bayman.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody.
They say his name a lot.
So if you're Hagamar, who are you making a deal with to get out of this whole witch delivery service if you find yourself in? Is it going to be Felsen or the Black Witch?
I mean, you got to make the deal with the Black Witch. She's got the powers.
Of course. I couldn't agree more, John. Now we're getting hate looks from Jamie.
God, no. It's like, was it like last week? Which week was it where John gave us like a one sentence? You're about to get the same thing. Was it like last?
That works.
Before?
I love it.
It's me, right? It is me, right? Okay. So
you are our Black Witch for sure.
We've got 2 knights, I think they are. This is as much as I gathered in medieval times, one of Jamie's favorite periods to watch.
Not the restaurant.
Oh yeah, I would much rather be there than this movie. Anyway, sorry. We've got 2 knights in medieval times that have to, for some fucking reason that I wasn't paying attention, transport a witch to another city because she has set a plague on on every town or whatever. And they think if they get her to this maybe monastery, I might know more than I thought I did. If they get her to this, they can cure the plague that is going on. Plot twist, she ain't a fucking witch. We'll go from there.
And to our audience, if you think that Jamie dumbed down the synopsis, she did not. That is a full pitch synopsis of this movie.
I mean,
good. So I knew what was going on, kind of.
I felt like I was in Blockbuster reading the back of the DVD.
Exactly. Yeah. So as we do, for the curators of each of the blocks, we let them set off the conversation. So John, I think you said all of these, except for the last one, are first watches. This was a first watch for
Oh,
you?
all of these are first
No,
watches.
all of them are for him. Yeah.
All of
Oh,
them.
you haven't seen the
I've
last one?
never
Okay.
seen this, and I know the reason why I never saw this. I remember I remember the trailer. For some reason, it stands out, and it's literally like I want to say like a 30-second spot. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, and it shows none of the special effects, and
But it
it's
shows his
really
hair, and that's really all you
oh
need to know.
man.
It does.
Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah,
hair,
yeah,
though,
yeah.
I mean, I love how they gave Nick Cage like some sort of wig or something to wear, but they just
Yeah.
let Ron Perlman just like be Ron Perlman from modern times, just like he's got the hair gel going, and he's looking very Ron Perlman. Oh man,
In my heart of hearts, what I like to think is that he showed up on set and they had a wig for him too, and Ron said, "There's no fucking way."
no.
Absolutely not.
That's not happening.
Nope.
What are we gonna do? Well, is he gonna walk off? Yeah. Just let
Just
him.
hand him a sword and push him out there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this movie. I knew this. So I didn't want to necessarily torture us with this movie. The reason why I picked it was because I was like, it's going to be at least loosely connected to kind of what we normally do. And also I knew it's notoriously bad. So I knew we were going to at least have a lot of fun with this, and nobody's going to expect anything from this.
Right.
Because
Correct.
because no one should. The scary part is how much this movie cost.
Oh,
Because
trauma.
I can't believe, like, I couldn't see half the money on the screen. Like,
Yeah.
This cost $40 million to make. And it more than doubled its money back.
Yeah.
It did?
Worldwide.
It did
Oh,
make
yeah.
its money? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
because when I went to watch it, the Rotten Tomatoes was like 10%.
Oh, yeah. It's so bad. And I'll be honest, that score, I think, is like, if you just look at it, I mean, there are glaring plot holes. There's some stuff that's really bad. I've seen worse movies have a higher Rotten Tomato score than this.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, true. Yeah, I have to.
There's a lot of hate reviews on there for this. Understandably, it's
Mhm.
bad, but I've seen a lot worse. I mean, this is like, I think for anything, for the two notorious bad things in this turd sandwich of movies that I made for us, I have to say, like, The Wicker Man was nowhere near as bad as it notoriously was. And I would say this one, everyone knew it was bad, and it still was like, oh, it's so bad. It's nowhere near as bad as that. However, this is a trash movie. Don't watch this. It's garbage. Unless you love looking at matte paintings, terrible helmets on knights, and a few Nick Cage-isms. And terrible CGI. Oh my god, the CGI is so bad.
Oh my god, yes.
It is
I think we all have the same notes.
Yeah,
so bad. But I after the third wolf face, though, I did start like laughing out loud. It was so bad.
We get it.
So bad. I kind of appreciate the commitment. And my other favorite part was during that scene when you can tell Nicolas Cage had a countdown with his sword for the CGI wolves to jump at him. And like, he barely moved. And when he moved, it was like, and now. And it's so bad. So that's the only way I can recommend this is literally get out your party favors, get out your beers, get out your friends, and just prepare for some dull background but hilarious moments. There's some
there's got to be some great drinking games that go along with this.
Oh, there has to be, yeah.
Oh, the Cage faces, the terrible CGI. Oh, and that demon that like had 3 or 4 different voices that were all the wrong accents for anything. But yeah, this is a stew of crap in Nick Cage. That's the best way to put this. And this actually got put in theaters. That's the scary part.
Yeah, it got a marketing campaign because I remember the trailers. Like, they pushed this thing. They were and I think a lot of that, and we'll get into it here in a minute, but I think a lot of that goes along with this was Relativity's literal first movie they ever brought as a studio.
Really?
Like, this is Relativity's opening premiere, so they were excited about it. And I'm just glad they survived.
Yeah. Bold move.
Yeah. They learned a lot, I would say. As a studio, they probably learned a lot as a production company. Sorry, John. I just
no. The one thing that was interesting though was this you get the cast today, and it had a ton of character actors that are like, I can't remember their names, but you even had Claire Foy in this, like as the witch /
Yeah.
spoiler alert, demon. So and the last thing I'll say is I was actually surprised at how close this was to horror, because I was kind of like, I'm like, this has got witch in it. It's like loosely adjacent, but it had more like horror stuff in it than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, so oddly enough, the special effects on the plague victims seem better than the CGI.
100%. Yeah, I think the best makeup in this is Christopher Lee.
Oh, and you wouldn't even recognize him.
Exactly. If you didn't know that voice, you wouldn't.
Oh man, yeah, because he had stuff on his face and in his mouth, and it was like, wow, kudos. But yeah, no, it's a fitting large turd for this turd sandwich of movies that I've assembled here. So, I guess we wouldn't be us if we didn't refer to poop, right, Eli?
Yeah.
That's for our boy. That's for our boy. And on the Christopher Lee thing, you have to imagine, because we talked about it with The Wicker Man, there had to be some time on this set when Nick Cage goes up to Christopher Lee and gushes about what a fan he is and how much he loves what he's done and all that. And Christopher Lee just looks at him and said, "You're garbage, kid."
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that, because this definitely came after that movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, that had to be
awkward conversation.
Awkward, tense. I'm sure Christopher Lee was just like,
yeah, but you shat on one of my most proud films.
I can't even do a good Nick Cage impression, but it would have been great.
All right, Jamie. So I know this one's in yearly rotation for you, and you've got a lot of the background on this. So tell us all about Season of the Witch.
I didn't even know this movie existed to us when.
Oh, really? Like literally before we
literally had no idea what this was till it was.
I remember it being promoted. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I knew nothing or remembered nothing about this movie. So obviously, I've never seen it. I have basically no opinions on this movie whatsoever because, like, as I said, like the time period's not my thing. Nights are not my thing. Nick Cage isn't really my thing. Bad movies are not my thing. Bad CGI is not my thing. Like, this movie, as John said, is not even, it's like not even so bad it's funny. And it's not, I don't think, and again, I never even knew about this movie really. I'd only heard from you guys and how bad it was going to be, whatever. But like, based on what John said too, like, I don't even know that it's worth. I've seen worse. This is just a bad movie. Like, I've seen worse.
It's a nothing.
Like,
yeah.
It's just like you all touched on, the CGI is fucking unbearable. When you finally see the demon in full demon, I just was like, you've got to be fucking kidding. Like, this is what they came up with. Like, we have so many movies and things with demons and like whatever. And this is what you give me for this fucking like this laughable creature is what you give me as the quote unquote big bad.
That's your big twist reveal.
Yeah. It's like, so like, I mean, it's, we'll get into like specifics on why it's like bad, but like, John had something about plot holes. I didn't even catch plot holes because I wasn't even paying attention enough to even know like that the plot is so like just loose. It's what I said in the beginning, I think, unless there's a more deeper thing to this movie because I wasn't paying attention.
That was the whole thing.
A group of people it's not just the knights. I should have said it's like a group of people bringing this witch slowly across the plains and shit happening. And like fucking, I was like super mad at the wolf scene, which we'll talk about until it was so laughably bad. Like with everything John was saying, though, like the timing, the way their faces, the fucking, like the way they were killing, like the CGI in it, it was just like, oh my God. But anyway, so, I my overall thoughts are not many because it's just a bad movie. Again, have I seen worse? Of course. But, and is it worth that 11%? I think you're right. I think people took this a little too comically far of like bashing it. Like, I think it's just bad.
Yeah, they nickel-backed it.
Yeah, there's definitely worse out there. It's just everything went wrong with this. Like, just the dialogue's bad, the CGI's bad, whatever. But it's like, whatever. I mean, I could see, I guess, why they tried to put this in theaters. It was like a big whatever event, but like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody realizes that, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not angry. I might sound it, but I'm like not nearly as angry as I could be about a bad movie. It's just it's just dumb.
Right.
It's just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Now,
all it is. It's dumb. It's a very
yeah.
dumb movie.
Now you've seen it and you know why you didn't know it existed.
Yeah, exactly. As I'm watching, I'm like, oh, but to John's point, I also thought it was just going to be kind of like a period piece, like thrillery, drama-y thing. Not that like every time they had something kind of horror elements to it, I was like, oh, like there is a little bit more horror to this than I thought there would be, but it still wasn't a payoff. It wasn't good, but it was there.
Yeah.
That demon.
Kind of.
They were making effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just going to pick up where I left off on the last episode with the Wicker Man. That's what I'm going to do. So, because to me, this really is just another dopey, mopey Nicolas Cage movie. This is not my Cage. I'll put it that way. This is not the guy that I usually look forward to. And honestly, and we've talked about it before, this is in that little middle period where I don't know if he had lost confidence or he was down on his luck or whatever it was. Like in his early days, his young, when we're Raising Arizona and those kind of movies, Vampire's Kiss, where he did go over the top in a very comical way, almost Jim Carrey kind of way. And then you've got these where he's trying to do the serious actor thing, is the sense I get. Like he's gotten some more theatrical training and all of that. He's trying to make a real go at being a leading man kind of thing, because he's coming off of movies like The Rock and what was the other one? Schut, the one with
Con Air.
Con Air. He's coming off of those, which were huge hits that he got to lead on, and he's trying to do the serious acting kind of thing, but it's just not working because it's not what you want from Nicolas Cage. It's not, you don't want the demure Nicolas Cage, and that's what he's trying to do here. But everybody always thought that it could not possibly get worse than Kevin Costner in Robin Hood as far as accents standing out. What I love about this movie is that you've got some of the greatest, actors, or at least highly skilled. I won't say the greatest. Christopher Lee, fantastic British stage actor. You've got Stephen Graham, who I remember from Schut. Anyway, he's the guy who plays Hagenmar, but he's been in a ton of British films. He's a great actor. And Claire Foy, who's from Liverpool, but they're having to affect these American accents just so it doesn't stand out that Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage don't do freaking accents. And it's funny that Christopher Lee, he doesn't put on a American accent because he's Christopher Lee. He's going to speak the way he wants to speak, but it's so funny that those other people have to come across as American accents just so it doesn't ruin the leading actor's position on all that stuff. I think that's hilarious. I will say that it was much prettier a movie, and I think this is something that both of y'all have referenced. It's not a bad movie to look at. I mean, the shots, the scenes, the atmosphere, they're all really cool to look at. The CGI ones are not, like in the Crusades in the front, with the big Lord of the Rings CGI armies on one side and them running down the hill at them. I'm like,
that
we could have
there's
done
so
without
many
all
of,
that.
and that there's so many of. So like, not only do they have that, but they kept
I'll take the
beating you over
300
the
on
head.
the right.
Yeah. Like how many battles they were in. Like I was like, I fucking got it by the second one. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, we needed more. It was like a bad Rocky montage.
Exactly. That whole college bro conversation they would have before each battle was fantastic.
It was sick.
But at the end of the day, there's just nothing here that is interesting or original to me. I think we're all on the same page. This is not a movie that we'll think of after this. This conversation will be the best part of the experience of watching this movie. The characters are really poorly written. They're uncompelling. The whole mystery of, is she a witch or isn't she a witch? Well, she's something. Fuck.
Yeah,
from the beginning, you know that she's not just a girl. So they broadcast that from the front, and you know she's not a witch because they've projected so much that they're treating her as if she's a witch. Well, okay, she's not a witch. She's supernatural. Guess what she is? The mystery is a non-mystery to start with. So I thought that was really funny. I don't like the CGI effects at all. They totally took me out of the movie, especially for the final battle which was frustrating to the point you all made. They had some really great makeup in here. They could have done some really cool makeup stuff, but they went way over the top. And it reminded me of a couple of movies that came out around the same time. Do y'all remember the Hansel and Gretel movie that came out?
Yep.
I didn't see it, but yes. But I
But
did
John,
not
you
see
know what
it.
I'm talking about? That
Yeah.
that it has a lot of CGI. Instead, they got lazy with the effects.
Yeah.
That movie did the same thing. And then there was the Witch Hunter movie with Vin Diesel. It
Yep,
had the very
remember
much
that.
the
See that
exact
either.
same vibe. Those were all movies that came out at the same time, and they all have a very similar aesthetic to them, which I don't like at all. Especially when I can see clearly that you can do really cool practical effects. You just choose not to. You're just not.
Yeah.
So those are my overall thought. There was at the end of the day, this was the end of a really good director's career, and I don't even feel bad about that. I mean, I liked some of Dominic Sena's movies. He did California. I don't know if you remember with Brad Pitt. It was
Oh.
sort of a riff on Quentin Tarantino kind of vibes.
Okay.
Kind of a road movie, but it was really good. And then he also did Swordfish. Do you remember that movie?
Oh
with John
yeah.
Travolta?
Yeah.
So that was
Didn't see
his joint too. But this movie literally killed his career. And like I said, I don't even feel bad about that, because if you as a director saw this and went, I'm going to put my damn name on that, then you get what you get, is kind of what my
Yeah.
opinion of that is. I wish at the end of the day, I wish I had watched the Halloween 3 version of this.
Oh my God, yes. Because as soon as I started typing in Season of the Witch, I got very upset.
There he comes.
That was
What?
just like,
There's a what 3D version of this?
no, Halloween 3 is Season of the Witch. My
Oh, gotcha,
my
gotcha. I'm
favorite
like,
Halloween, because I'm not a Halloween
Yeah.
fan, is Season of the Witch.
No, it's great.
We could have been sitting here counting down days to Halloween instead.
Exactly. Things we could
3
have been
more
doing.
days till Halloween.
Oh man.
So
Much
those are-
rather I would have been watching that.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
those are my
I mean-
overall thoughts. John, I'm going to let you jump in. What do you want to converse on? Because there's
Oh,
plenty. I've got.
I mean, the CGI is the most egregious offense in this whole thing. And I mean, I saw. I mean, the wolf faces. There was a few things before that, and I'm trying to remember exactly what they were, but they were like small little things.
Well, even when they were on the horseback, was
Yeah.
I the only like I've
Yeah.
never
Oh, yeah,
noticed-
yeah.
I've never really noticed green screen before in a movie. And
Oh.
I'm really oblivious to that kind of thing. But as soon as they were on horseback, it
It was
was
bad.
obvious. And I was like, I've never noticed that in my life. And I know that people use it all the fucking time, like
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I've
And-
never noticed it in characters until this movie.
Oh man, there's someone I usually am pretty sensitive to that stuff, so I usually pick up on it on most movies that do it or shows even that do it really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
this one was really bad. The matte paintings, I know some people love them, and I think some do a really good job in certain movies. Like I think Gremlins is the one that kind of pops in my head, where they've done some really good matte paintings where it
Mhm.
kind of did a really far zoomed out. Where this one uses them as backdrops, and I mean, this one was pretty bad. I haven't seen stuff like this since like the 80s in terms of like you practically see the outline around the actors. It's bad.
Yeah, and it's so jarring because we know this is a more modern movie than that.
Yeah.
Right.
You can fix this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as John pointed out, anytime we saw people with the plague, that's what it is, right? The plague. I'm not
Yeah,
using the wrong.
yeah.
Like anytime
Nope.
we saw people with the plague, they look fucking awesome, or like
Right.
they looked,
Yeah.
they like
Nasty,
you know,
yeah.
like yeah, they looked gross, and it was kind of cool looking.
Mhm.
But then
Mhm.
there's everything else.
Yeah.
I'm sure one day we'll figure out the guy who did the special effects, and he'll be a big star one day.
Went on to do, and this is for my buddy Eli, went on to do all of the makeup effects for Antlers.
Oh, nice.
I assume.
Good for him.
I assume.
Oh man, but no, the special effects definitely the set. I don't know, the accents too, man. When you
Yeah.
brought up the Kevin Costner thing, I was like, oh yeah, that one's just like I was so young when I saw that, it didn't matter. But this one, it's just like it's jarring. It's so bad, and then there's
It's
like
almost racist.
there's a character effect like that he decides to put on it some moments, and then he falls
Yeah.
right back out of it. Him and Rob Perlman both do this. They have like these moments where they put an effect on their voice and then they just slip right back to like just who they are. And I mean, I guess that's why but the only thing I can guess is Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman got a lot of money for this movie because I don't see the budget anywhere else on this.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, other than anytime you do a period piece, it's going to cost money. And just with the animal wrangling and this, I mean, they're on
That's
actual
true.
sets. They're on a lot of different location shoots and all that. That all costs money, but I agree completely. The only thing that I could really validate to spend $40 million on for this movie would be the names you got. But then the names you got just absolutely phoned it in.
Yeah, it's I know one of you brought it up too, and this is a complaint I feel like that I have about many movies, but even going back to our first movie of this series, because who gives a fuck about the Wicker Man? But once again, I had nobody listen, I know I wasn't paying fully attention, although I think my synopsis was pretty good. I didn't care about any of these people. Again,
No.
like nobody had any kind of developed story that I care about, even the witch, for me to feel bad about her, like or anything, or have any kind of concern for her well-being, or if she, or
Yeah, she
like,
was an asshole from day one too.
yeah, like everybody. And so when the young kid shows up, there was a brief moment where I thought they knew each other, whether he was a sibling or a boyfriend or just someone that cared about her. Even that would have been more interesting to me than he was just a fucking random dude. He wanted knighthood or whatever the fuck he wanted. But like, what I'm saying is, like, I thought at least he had a tie to her. And then when she like saved him, and I was just like, oh wait, maybe they're keeping it a secret, and that'll be like a spoil, like a oh my god, I can't, like a surprise, whatever, that they know each other, or like a twist or something, and like whether he helps her, he breaks her out, fucking something. But like, there was nothing. There was nothing to any of these characters. I couldn't tell you anything about the priest or the other dude that they took from the shackles. Don't ask me his story. I have no fucking clue who he was or why he was there. And like I just like nothing, could not give two shits about Nick Cage either, or Ron Perlman. Like nobody had any kind of story that I cared about at all.
Yeah.
Like to root for or care when they die, because like, spoiler alert to people, we haven't, like, I think almost everybody dies in this movie except for the young dude and the witch, quote unquote witch.
Yeah.
So everybody else dies. Did I care? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Right. Yeah, and we've talked around it, and I'll just go ahead and give a quick explanation of it so we can talk to it. Because I mentioned in mine the big twist of this movie, and this is a spoiler, but
huge twist.
I guess.
But they project the whole time that there's this black plague that Jamie had talked about that's hit Europe, and mainly England is where they've gone back from the Crusades to their homeland. And there's the bubonic plague has spread, and they're convinced that it's witches that are causing it. So they have this young girl, they call her the Black Witch. She's doing shady shit from day one.
Yeah,
so we know she's not
surprise.
just a girl.
What?
But then the big reveal when they get to the place and he starts reading from the Book of Solomon, which is the reason they had to go to this castle in this other area, because this was the only way to get rid of witches.
There. Yep.
So he starts reading from it, and she transforms into a demon. Dun, dun, dun. She's not a witch. She's a demon. Well,
what?
Okay. Why do I care? What's the difference?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all.
Why does that reveal anything? I mean,
it's so much worse, Dave.
Apparently. But then she turns literally into the demons from Constantine, like the CGI.
No way, dude. Constantine looks so much better than
That's true. That's true. But she's got the bat wings, of course, all of that stuff. So they've got to exorcise her to save the girl. That's the big hero sacrifice at the end, is take care of the girl.
But I don't even care about this girl. Like,
No.
most movies about witches, I mean, sorry, not most at all, but let's take some movies about witches, and you brought this up. Like, one of the big plots is like, is she or isn't she? And that was the really bad thing about the witch trials, is that these girls were not, and they were treated, you know what I mean? It's like, and she even references that, where she's like, they put stones in your pocket, they drown you, or they burn you at the stake or whatever. Like, it's like a lose-lose kind of situation there and whatever. But like, that should have been an angle in this movie. But like you said, like right up front, this girl is not a regular girl. She's fucking doing shit that's like abnormal. There's no way she's a regular girl. So it's like, there is
We know
no
that's not
is
it.
she. Yeah, we know there's no is she or isn't she. And then, like you said, who gives a fuck if she's a demon or a witch or what? She's a supernatural being to some degree. You're going to get rid of her the exact same way. It's going to be
Exactly.
an
Still reading from
exorcism,
the
or
book.
it's going to
Just a different chapter.
he turned a page. He's like, she's not a witch, and then he just turns pages, and he's like, okay,
See
I got
page
it.
89. It's like one of those choose your adventure books.
He's
Which
in
is
the
funny.
index. He's like, wait, not witch, demon. Okay.
Oh man.
Which is funny to your point,
Nothing
Jamie, is
changes.
before we even get to her, the whole projection that they give us is another priest in another village dealing with 3 women who are being accused of witchcraft.
Yeah.
Right.
And then come to find out as they are hung and then drowned that 2 of them were witches. But that has nothing to do with what this movie's about.
No, zero.
Adds 0 to this movie.
I will say that opening scene was probably my favorite scene of the movie, though.
Yeah,
it was
it's
just like
pretty
the
cool.
most, it was the most like horrific kind of like weird. I was just like, because when that happened, I was like, maybe this movie's not as bad as people like say it is. Like, this is an intense beginning. And like some movies do that, some don't. I was like, but this is pretty fucking intense. Like, we're doing the whole witchcraft thing. We're fucking hanging them and like kind of violently in a way. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the movie proceeded.
Yeah. And then never referenced again.
Never.
Has nothing to do.
Figure out if she was one of the girls. I could not figure out like what those 3 had to like do. Like
Nothing.
with it. She's not, right? She is not one of those girls. There's a blonde. There's the old haggard looking woman that looks like the one from Drag Me to Hell. And
The obvious witch. Yeah. Literally tells the priest, I'll see you burn in hell. Okay. Well,
that was my favorite part too, when she just says that instead of even pleading. She just like,
I wonder which
God.
one's the witch. Has one dead eye. It's like literally the stereotypical witch mask that you buy at the Halloween shop.
oh my God, this movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole bunch of filler in between. It's like nothing. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even tell you what happens right now, besides the wolf scene, which we could talk about, but besides the unnecessary wolf scene.
And the bridge scene.
And the bridge scene.
The bridge scene. Yeah, it's just a bunch of that, right? Like, I don't know, it's her stabbing someone in the hand so she can get out, but then she comes right back.
Yeah.
Like,
And Nicolas Cage moping through the whole fucking thing.
Yes. It's like, I don't know. I mean, they all die, but I couldn't even tell you like kind of how. I mean, I could, but you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't even stick with you.
Has zero
They
impact.
got stabbed by the CGI zombie demon
like
things.
we end up with none of them, but does it really matter? No.
To be fair, the best death I'll give to Ron Perlman, getting burned alive in the wings of a demon. That was a pretty sweet shot.
That sounds like a great idea. The execution of it was a
way too CGI.
Little bit, not good.
Literally gets turned into dust. In the
Also, can we say it's after he tries headbutting it twice? Not once.
Oh yeah.
Not once. Twice.
Yeah.
There were so many choices made in this movie, we'll say. So many choices.
And his fucking parting words had to be like, this one's on you, or whatever, back to their argument with the drinks.
You're buying tonight.
Yeah, buying tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
There's the lines in this. Oh man.
Yeah, I was immediately reminded that this was at the height of Ron Perlman on Sons of Anarchy. Like, he's literally playing that same character. Ultra masculine bro guy. He just happens to have a sword instead of a motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, this movie.
It's
something.
It's fun. It's fun for this. It's fun for
this. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm just trying to think what, we've already hit all the high notes. That's the problem. There's not really anything else.
It's when you think about it, there's not a lot that like happens. Like there is, but there is not. It's like exactly what we talked about. Like there's I'm using air quotes for anybody listening. There's exciting scene trying to get across a wooden bridge, which like Indiana Jones does that better.
They're going to make it.
Yeah. If you want a good road movie with like maybe a twist or two, just watch Mad Max Fury Road. It's a 100%. Good road movie. Just watch that. You're going to have a way better time. 100%. You're not going to laugh though. You're not going to laugh.
You might. I don't know.
Well, actually, you know what? It's some of the war boys, the way they died, that was pretty comical.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Witness me. If it was Cage, it'd be witness me.
I would love to see him do the V8 salute.
Mediocre.
God. Oh,
like to your point too, like this isn't even cagey. Like
No.
this might be the least cagey, right? Because I know what the last one is, and I've seen the last one, and trust me, that's fucking
cagey.
That's fucking cagey. But like this is like
he only does
lowest
one.
on the totem
Yeah,
pole. Like this is just like he's
that could have literally been any actor.
He might be phoning it in. Like I don't even know what's happening here. Like everybody is just like
I
don't know.
If I cared enough, I would have looked into the movie. This almost feels like it was made like 3 or 4 years before it was released, and then it was released.
It was held a year, like it was finished.
Okay.
Here's the story, which is hilarious. This movie was originally bought by MGM in 2001.
One?
That says a lot. That says a lot about this movie.
Then they sold it to Columbia in 2004, and then they sold it to another studio that I can't remember in 2006, and then Relativity, which was this new production company, they probably saw them coming a mile away and say, "Do I have a script for you?" So it was hanging around Hollywood for like 11 years before it actually became something.
Holy shit!
Wow,
it was a spec script. Nobody asked for this. This guy wrote it, and then MGM bought it for some reason, and then they were just everybody. It was like a hot potato of Hollywood, is what it was.
Wow,
my God!
I'm so glad you did that research because that story is more interesting than the movie.
Exactly. Well, and then the funny thing is, once it was out, or once they had it in the can, Relativity, as you would with your first film as a new studio, they screened it. The screens were so god awful that they went back to the script and did a bunch of reshoots with a completely new director, which always goes well whenever you change directors.
In a movie, mid-movie or whatever.
Director who's going to bring his own editor, who's going to re-edit the whole thing. Things are going to go well. I mean, that has never gone wrong for anybody.
No.
So literally, they had it in the can in 2010, screened it, said, "Oh shit," did a bunch of reshoots. That's why it came out in 11. Which, when you watch this, I'm going, yeah, I see it. I totally see that whole trash fire. I see that's what happened. Not surprised at all.
No.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. And it's so funny. And we've had this conversation about so many different movies, how that happens in Hollywood. Like at some point, and I get it. I mean, the release date on this was January 7th. They know what they had. They know that they've got a dog shit movie that they've got to get in theaters to make some money back. And I hadn't looked it up. I'm still blown away, John, that you said that they actually made their bank back.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Worldwide ticket box office sales was 90 million.
So that was a win, which breaks my heart.
Shows you bad movies still make money.
But what was it? The marketing, which I don't remember. Like you
probably
guys
Nicolas Cage. I bet this resonated better overseas, a little bit, possibly,
just to be a period piece. And
I mean, but dude, the CGI is so god awful. I don't know
it's
how.
Bad. Yeah, it's bad.
I remember stuff on TV back then looking better than this.
No, for the year that this came out, it should not. That's inexcusable for what this looks like and how much money was put into it. And it's just it's like people just gave up. I think.
Like who said we need to make the wolves look any angrier or like werewolves all of a sudden? Because you can clearly see the wolf face.
And a wolf is dangerous. I don't need a monster.
It changes. Yeah, then it changes.
But it
doesn't change enough. It just gets meaner
and stiffer. It looks like they literally put a mask on the wolf. It's really bad.
It's so fucking weird, that whole thing with the wolves changing into just a like you said, like a rubber wolf. Like I don't know why it goes from real wolf to like weird wolf. Like it makes and they're still wolves. It's one thing if they got up on 2 legs or they grew another fucking set of arms. I don't know. It's one thing, another head, it turned it like
I mean, if he sat down
the same.
and started like shaking their hands or like acting like a dog, okay, I can understand why you gotta like
change
it up a little bit. They didn't. They just looked like a wolf. You could literally just cut
and it would have been more scary.
Dave, I can't believe I almost forgot this. And actually, it's almost more for Jamie. Is just like when he said we're gonna need some more holy water, I immediately
Oh,
thought
the
of
Jaws
Jaws.
reference.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I could not.
Lord,
I couldn't
why?
believe they did that. I was like, you've got some fucking balls right now, movie. Like you really do. I was like, and they did it as like a cutaway. Like he he literally said, we're gonna need some more holy water. And then we cut to like them doing, and I was just like, you
know what they did.
Yeah, I'm like, we all know what you're doing right now, and I can't believe you even think you have the audacity to even try right now.
It would have been
Jamie
better if
has her
Nick Cage would have
protective
said
husband moment and says, "Keep my movie's name out of your fucking mouth."
Like, come on. Holy shit.
How do you not have Nick Cage deliver that line though?
That
how
too.
Do you,
Exactly.
How do you not? Like if you're gonna have anybody say that, it's Nick Cage.
It's got to be him, yeah.
Oh God.
And he would too. I mean, that's if nothing else, what we're learning in this curated block that John's provided for us is there is no in that man.
Oh,
There's no
absolutely
shame.
not. He will do almost anything. In fact, he probably comes up with almost anything that he does too. Yeah. We're pretty confident. I don't think these things are in the script. I think he just says them.
And he never apologizes for it. Like I looked at, as I was researching this movie, he still defends this movie. He's convinced this is a great movie. And again, unfortunately, he has the financials on his side. He's like, look, we made a successful film. What do you want from me?
Good for him. He also thought The Wicker Man was great.
Exactly.
You know
he
what?
likes to brag about all of the horseman training that he did for this movie. And he did a bunch of sword training with the best choreographers in England for sword training. So he's like, yeah, we all prepared for this movie in a big way. I'm like, yeah, but you couldn't even fucking talk right in it. So what are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. Oh, this movie. Oh man.
This movie is right. I don't know. There's like it's so weird because I know we said we'd have so much fun like discussing, but there's almost nothing to talk about in this movie. Like there is, but there isn't. Like we're talking about the stupid things and the funny things and the silly, but like they're really like I can't express enough how nothingness there is in between this. Like it's just even again, even though the whole cast is not a big cast, even though like almost the whole cast dies and like whatever, it's just like none of it's exciting and it doesn't happen in any kind of like
it doesn't stick with you at all
way. Like actually, if you guys can tell me how we know how Nick Cage and I also do not know one character's name in this movie. This might be the first time we've watched a movie where I couldn't tell you one character. No, wait, Felsen, right? Is that Ron Perlman?
Yeah, that's Perlman.
All right, I got one. So anyway, besides them dying at the end, I can't even think of how the fucking other ones. Someone gets his neck spun around, right? The priest, I guess. The priest
by the
reading the guy in the shackles. The wolves. He's the wolves, maybe. He gets ripped apart by wolves. Okay.
Yeah. So you're telling me you didn't see the Nick Cage flashbacks that reviews all the deaths that we've seen so far?
Yeah. That happens every 10 minutes or so. Yeah.
The flashback 80 times that he killed that woman. And
we know, dude. We know. We know you're a tormented guy. We know your motivation. We get it.
Not only did we see it happen, but we saw it happen the first time and it was extra slow. Like he literally, when he killed, backtrack. In the beginning of the movie, after the 80 fucking battle scene, like we have to see them through fucking 80 battles. Literally, it's so bad. Like you think 2 is enough, 3 is enough. There's at least 6 of them, I feel like. And then he finally, the last one, right? Like he stabs a woman. And he's just like, he's in battle. And
why are we doing this?
Yeah. But him stabbing the woman and looking at her and whatever is like, I feel like at least 3 minutes of Nick Cage standing there looking at this woman die with his sword in her or whatever. And I'm just like, again, we get it, movie. Like, and now we have to cut to it throughout the whole movie.
It actually ruins the effect they're going for because once you're looking at her face for 5 seconds or so, you realize what a stupid face she's making while she's done. It's literally like she's just locked on. Like, you shot me right in the leg. It's the dumbest look on her face.
It's you know what though? Talking about this back to back with the other one, he has the same fucking motivation in this movie. So in the other one, he wanted to save a kid because he lost a kid. And in this one, his whole fucking motivation is to save this girl because he killed a girl in the beginning, a young woman, because he killed a young woman in the beginning of the movie. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. His movies are all the same fucking motivation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a real issue with kids, or kids are bad luck for him, at least.
Wait till the last one. This has more child issues in it.
And I love his whole principled stance that he immediately abandons every time he like makes a principled stand. Like when the Cardinal, Christopher Lee's character, tells him, "Look, you've got two choices. Either I'm going to let you rot in jail, or you can take this witch to this monastery." And he's like, "I'll never work for the church again." And then he goes to the jail cell, and then 5 minutes later, he's up there. "We'll do it." I'm like, why? Suddenly. What changed, dude?
I would like that because
there was no
missed that also.
conversation.
I was like, he went from being in the cell to like, I like looked away and then he was taking her and I was like, wait, huh? But I didn't care. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Cool.
It's just what they did. And
Oh, my
again,
goodness.
new director, new edit. Maybe there was stuff, but it doesn't matter because
Oh my
it didn't
God,
make it to the actual film.
I could only imagine then, like what, or how much of this was reshoot. You know, you never know, like how
Yeah.
much of this, maybe like all this CGI was reshoot. Maybe they ran out of
Oh my
like
gosh.
time, budget, and whatever, and they were just like CGI it up because we.
That would actually explain the just general tone and tenor of Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage, though. Like if they had to reshoot the entire movie or the bulk of it, I would be pretty annoyed too.
For all we know, it actually was supposed to be like, isn't she a witch? And that didn't go over well. And they were like, fuck that. Now
Make her a demon.
She's a demon. We're gonna blow minds.
That would explain the terrible CGI. They weren't scared.
They were just like, fuck, we need a demon. Look at gargoyles. Make one. Okay. It looks like it looks like a gargoyle.
The wolves aren't scary enough. Gotta make them scarier.
We referenced this earlier, and now I'm afraid this could be what happened because Constantine had just come out and it was such a hit, at least at a cult level. I know it wasn't a theatrical success by a great deal. It made its money back, but it became this big cult hit. So demons were in, and maybe that's all they had to go on.
Very well could be. They very well
but we're committed
like...
to this title because we're gonna have that song tie-in.
Exactly. Which they didn't use at all in the trailers. I went and looked at the old promotions. I'm like, what are we doing here?
How do you not?
Exactly.
Aren't there like so many versions of that song too? I feel like
yeah.
that you could like use.
Yeah, you could get some really cool covers of that. And I would say they wouldn't be terribly expensive if you're spending $40 million. You could get that and make it work.
No, it's in some, I mean, it might be now and it might have been way later, but like there's some other horror movie that has it and much like, God, don't ask me which one. But anyway, they're like, I'm just saying like that movie put it in and it was not even the title of the fucking movie. Like,
was it Conjuring?
Help me, maybe.
Because they did some 70s.
I don't know. It's like either it doesn't not matter. And I could while we're discussing, I will tell you what Wikipedia tells me Season of the Witches. But like, yeah. I don't know. This movie makes a lot of weird choices and makes sense then with your whole them reshooting and whatever. And we've had that conversation about some other movies that needed to be stitched together later and reshot or went from hand to hand to hand. And it starts to make sense why.
Yeah. It becomes a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. And it is what it is. But the fact that this even made it this wouldn't make it to theaters now. And I know it's not even that long ago, but now it would go direct to mass or streaming because they would not put this. They wouldn't even throw this.
Let's go straight to Tubi.
Yeah, that's true.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Sorry, was Lana Del Rey's version. And that's what I was thinking of.
It was the red lady, wasn't it?
I don't know, but it just said it was covered. I think it might be in the credits or something. I just remember it being in Scary Stories. And it's because it's Lana Del Rey. So it's like a nice version of it, but like it's So anyway, sorry. But that's what I was thinking of as recent, and like it's in that movie. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway.
Yeah. Don't apologize. It's not like you stepped on some big, deep conversation we were having. Never apologize for actually adding something of interest to this conversation.
Oh my goodness!
Because you're right. I mean, there's nothing really to talk. There's no meat on this to talk about, motivation or, story arc or character transformation through this because nobody changed. Literally, if you think about it, nobody accomplished anything.
Nope. Nobody learned anything. Nobody. No, they did. I assume they got rid of the plague. No.
Oh yeah, you're right. They got rid of the plague. They got rid of the demon.
Did they? I hope so. I
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't. And she now wants to hear fairy tales about the guys who saved her. That's what we got
Yeah.
from this. Maybe we got a little romantic relationship there. You know.
Oh, they should have had her turn to the camera, wink, and then have like fire come out of her eyes.
Oh my God, I was waiting for some ending where she's like,
I was ready to
witch.
throw something
like,
at the
yeah,
TV.
so was I. I was waiting for her to either still be the demon or be a witch now. Like I was waiting for any of that. I was like, because that would fit. That would just fit.
That would
right
be great.
in.
That'd be great.
I'm going to make the call that
She's
the director went to the editor and said, "What if?" And the editor said, "No fucking way, dude. We are not doing that."
We've had enough.
Exactly. She is not looking back. You're not going to get a red eye glow on her. No, the movie's over. Run for your life. But the conversation happened because I'm like you, Jamie. I was literally waiting to roll my eyes when it's revealed that she's still the baddie. Or maybe it was a witch that was demon possessed. So you got the demon out so the witch could take over again.
That works too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly. And again, zero effect on my concern.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even wait. I was about to say I hated everyone in this movie. Guys, I didn't even hate them because again, I couldn't give two fits. There was not one person that I even thought was funny or likable or that I cared about at all. Like these other guys, like again, I don't even know. I don't remember their purpose. One's a priest. I don't know why the guy in the shackles is even fucking there. If you guys can tell me why.
He's the guide.
Remember. Oh, that's what he is. He's like a
been
guide.
There before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of thought, but then I was like, well, I wasn't paying attention, so maybe
it really doesn't matter. He doesn't really guide them to anywhere.
Yeah, I don't like. It's like then there's the young kid. Did they have another guy in the beginning? I'm forgetting. There was
that's
another
the point
one,
I was
right?
Make to the point you're making.
can't
There's
even remember.
Eckhart, who's another knight who worked for the church,
Oh,
who was
that's
there
right.
as the personal bodyguard for the witch.
How does he die?
Well, he has a vision of his daughter, who apparently he lost in some tragic thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And he literally gets stabbed through the belly.
Yes.
It's supposed to be this big, heavy moment, and we just now remembered it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like,
there's another guy there. There's
a very capable guy that's supposed to be part of this party. Totally X'd out. Stupid story. Never thought about him again.
And we're still supposed to be doubting if she's a witch or anything. When he literally walks right into a sword because he sees his daughter or whatever. And they are still questioning if this woman's a witch. She has now made someone hear his daughter and walk right into someone's sword. She has whatever else she did. She howled like wolves. She lifted a man with one arm or whatever off. And we're still questioning are they not questioning?
No, the priest is with you. The priest is with you. Nick Cage gets convinced.
Wait, the priest thinks she's a witch, right?
He's
she's a witch. Okay.
Yeah.
And is the priest the one that she tries saying something about him touching her, which was a weird?
Yes. Yeah, she's accusing him, which was kind of an icky moment too.
Wants attention. So
Mr. Ash.
He's joining this conversation. He slept through the movie, so he doesn't have a lot to say about it. But
it was an
icky moment.
For our audience, Ash has been put in timeout. He's having to think about what he did. He knows what he did. We're not going to get into it, but he just has to think about his consequences here.
Yeah, he does. He's in air jail right now. That's what we call this. It is an icky moment, and I thought we were going to go further with that icky moment, which would have been ickier. But again, we bring up something weird and gross, and then we just I really thought that was going to be a motivation behind like Nick Cage helping her or something, because now he's like, oh, this guy touched her, right? That's what she says. Touch. I don't want him touching me anymore.
Don't leave me alone with him. Yeah.
So I thought now Nick Cage is going to be like, oh my God, all feminism and like whatever and like this. It's not even feminism. That's just decency. And like it's just like I didn't even mean to say it like that. And he's just like, now I must save this girl from this guy, and she's not a
evil
witch.
Priest.
I can't. And that never comes up again.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think it's so
throwing
funny.
Shit out there.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that Hagamar finally gets, when he's almost eaten by wolves, which is hilarious. Like he gets taken by the face by a demon wolf, and when he gets up, he's got 3 scratches on his cheek. I'm like, no, dude, that's not how that works. You don't have a jaw anymore. That's how that works. But he gets fed up after he knows that she's sicked the wolves on him, gets his crossbow and says, let's just kill the bitch now and be done with it, because we know what she is now. Nobody's questioning that anymore. And it was Cage, who steps in and says, "No, that's not the way we do things. That's not right." And then, like, literally 10 minutes later, he's got the crossbow and he says, "I'm going to kill her."
Yeah.
Because when he does it, it's right.
Exactly.
right.
But then Ron Perlman steps between them as the big
Yep.
hero.
Yeah.
This is not the way we do. I'm like, okay, are we just going to hand the crossbow through the party? Everybody's going to have their moment in the sun.
Yes.
And turns out we should have just killed her because
exactly. Exactly.
You guys just sat there. You guys just sat there fighting over who was going to kill 600 men per battle. Take out one woman, okay?
Who's in a cage.
Yeah, I'm not for. Listen, I'm not saying she should have died, but what I'm saying is these guys have no fucking moral compass until he accidentally killed a woman. Oh, please, you've killed a lot more than that up until this point. And now you care because this witch who is fucking destroying
is killing everybody.
No, now we care. Now.
Yep.
Now you're a good guy. Yeah, we're on your side, sir.
Now we're understanding.
God.
So, any other thoughts on Season of the Witch? Another banger in the match block.
I mean, hey, you have to see how bad it can get before you get anything good, Dave.
The beauty of all of this is, and I've referenced this with some of the, when I used to do scouts, and we would go on the camping trips when the weather was perfect and everything went the way it's supposed to, and you have a great trip. Those are not the camping trips that the kids talk about. It's the one where you get there and it pours rain and everybody's tent's flooded and you can't build a fire and you just sit in the rain for 3 days straight. Those are the trips that everybody continues to reference. I have a feeling that these movies that we're watching right now, we're going to be referencing for a good long time on the podcast. These are our rainy camp trips. That's what
I do not doubt it.
Oh man. Now I'm almost kind of disappointed when we get to the next one because I
fucking hate it. So
yeah, exactly. Listen. I might be the only one. Eli might. I think I said this last time. Eli might do the thing where he disappoints me. Where I thought he liked it, and then he's gonna rewatch it. Yeah, and he's gonna tell me he hates it. Listen, when I say I like it, still is not a good fucking movie.
Oh, so it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, but I had fun with that one. Like that's one of those, like, I don't want to spoil for everybody. Although maybe we should, because like sometimes people want to watch along. Now they have time to watch before the next.
Well, I guess we can let them open their present early. Dave, go ahead.
Sure, and y'all have seen on our social media, I usually tee up the next movie about halfway the week before.
Oh, true, you do. You're right, you do. Yeah.
But our final in the John, and this will be like mid-June, summertime feels.
Oh man, drive-in vibes.
Got a genuine romantic comedy to roll these out. We're gonna watch Drive Angry.
Oh, there you go.
A beautiful little romantic story.
It's something. I will say maybe I'll save it for when we get to that episode. So never mind. I won't say my little tidbit about that movie, and it has nothing to do with the actual movie. It's my views on the movie.
And that's how teasers work. Now you have to come back and listen to see what Jamie actually thinks about it.
Because keep in mind, here's a clue for what I was saying. Keep in mind, Drive Angry, which I did not see in theaters, was released in 3D. I want you all to know that when you watch this movie.
3D.
Yep. And as soon as you see like the opening scene, you'll be like, yep, this was 3D. This was 3D.
And as you watch it, you'll notice that they make some bold moves on how to use their 3D.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I wonder if I'm just going to hate it finally. Like I've watched it enough times. This won't even be my 5th time watching it.
Well, the funny thing is we referenced it, I guess, last year around Camp Wicked Wild. Maybe it was the Prawn episode. Anyway.
Probably. I've referenced it a lot.
You referenced how much you liked it. I didn't like it when it first came out, but because of what you had said, I went back and watched it and affirmed.
You still hate it.
So literally my 3rd time watching this movie. That's got to be the last time. Got to be the last time. But I'm here for it. I'm still looking forward to the conversation. Again, another good stormy camp trip for us to.
I can't wait for John to watch it.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
I'm going to call my shot and say John's probably going to come in and say that was more fun than I expected it to be. Because John does a really good job. If I could speak for John for a second, because I'm his publicist. what I appreciate about John is he does a really good job of intentionally calibrating for
True.
specific movies, like
True.
what his expectations are. And I'd say, I'm assuming for all of these, John, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, you have held your expectations in the dirt for all of
Oh,
these.
very low.
Okay, good. Good.
Very, very, very low. No,
So you might be surprised.
and this comes from a person that used to get all the high expectations. When you grow up and you're like, you see that movie trailer, and we saw them years in advance.
Mhm.
Just for anybody that's younger than us, that's somehow listening to this, they may not they may not have experienced where you get like the year or sometimes a 2-year teaser trailer for movies. If you remember those, Dave.
Yep.
Oh, I want to say
Absolutely.
Jurassic Park was like teased like 2 years in advance.
I
I
don't
was
even
like,
remember that.
Yeah.
oh man, it
Oh,
was
you-
like huge.
Yeah, you'd have these big installation
Yeah.
publicity PR stunts that they would do for these movies. I remember the same thing with Independence Day. I think even Scream
Oh,
had
yeah.
one, didn't it? Didn't Scream
Which
have a
one?
big long tail?
Possibly. I don't know. Independence Day definitely would have, just
Definitely
because of
didn't.
like what it is.
Yeah, X-Files. I mean, everybody knew that movie was coming like 3 years before it came out. They kept teasing
Yeah.
it.
And I mean, I think this is where they started to learn how to leak things and
Mhm.
like kind of drive some of the news stories a little bit. But yeah, no, but like that's like we don't get that kind of buildup like we used to.
Right. Yeah,
No.
it's amazing to me. And again, I'm going to show my old man pants here for a minute. That this art form of cinema has 100% become a commodity. Like it's just churning out content. Doesn't matter if the content's good, bad, or otherwise.
Oh no, it
Just
just
keep
it's
the
just
funnel
constant.
full, which is a shame for for somebody who grew up like me. To your point, John, when the even as soon as the prequel Star Wars movies, when they came out in early 2000,
Oh
that was an
God.
event. Like the whole world
Yeah.
was
Yeah, it
talking
was.
about
Yeah,
them.
that was a major thing. Yeah.
Yeah, even if that wasn't your world, you went to
No, it
see
was a
those
big
movies.
deal. Yep, it was a
Yeah.
big deal when that
Yeah.
happened.
That's
Well,
not going to happen.
No,
much
we don't
anymore.
get that anymore. No,
Yeah.
it's similar to what I was just talking to someone about the other day, and this is a tangent. And we could go back. We'll go back to Nicolas Cage right at this, but like I was just
Why?
talking to someone the other day about how, and I know I loved it, but I'm not trying to say it like that. Like the Barbie movie was the closest thing I've seen
Mhm.
since Rocky Horror Picture Show, where there's
True.
like an event around a movie. Like I got dressed up. My sister and I
Mhm.
got dressed up, and we were only in. We went to the second weekend, not even the first, because we were both busy and unfortunately, but like, and the way it worked. But I'm just saying, like, that went for weeks. That went for weeks. You could see that movie and people were still like making it an event. And so not similar, like similar, but not similar. Like we don't see those things anymore. And like, I don't know, people could correct me. I'm sorry. I'm sure the Star Wars movies, people got dressed up and did things like that, but that's
Mhm.
because that is a culture. That already is a culture where people like do that. I feel like this
Yeah.
was like something that
Whatever
nobody
movie
expected.
you put out, they're going to get
Yeah,
around it.
for Star Wars,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna like. This is something that nobody fucking expected to turn into like an event where people like created a whole
Yeah,
thing
it's a movie
around
about
it.
Barbie. Yeah.
It was like amazing. I said the day that we did it, we walked around, everybody in pink. You said hi Barbie, and it was just like, and this was in New York City, which I guess maybe helps the situation, just because I know people say what they want about New York, but like everybody in pink was seeing the fucking movie. Like we knew that.
You knew
Like,
your tribe, yeah.
Yeah, and you just wave to people while you're walking around the city. It was like a fucking thing. Anyway, back to Nick Cage. I have a little thing for you. The movie we're watching next week, same year as this movie. So
No
Really?
way.
two totally
Wow.
different Cages, in my opinion. Dave, can you agree? At least
Oh,
two totally different.
100%. Yeah. Yeah,
Same year. Although I don't know that Drive Angry was held at all. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's
that's true. Yeah, this one, you're right. This one was in the
This is-
can earlier
Yeah,
than
so-
Drive Angry was.
yeah.
So maybe he's letting off a little steam, or just maybe this is the movie that made Nicolas Cage hit fuck it. And we have this
maybe.
movie to thank for this Cage we got afterwards. So maybe this is where it started.
We've gotten an interesting rainbow of Nick Cages, I will say. We
100%.
started with a rather modern, and then we've kind of went back, and then we're ping ponging around a little bit. So,
But we're going to end on the right kind of Cage. If nothing else, no matter what I think of the movie, it's the right Cage. I'll put it that way for sure.
then that means we're all going to have a great time.
Exactly. And our feral boy will be back with us ranting. Even if he likes the movie, he'll be yelling.
I don't know.
I kind of hope he does like it, but he surprises me every time. So what do I know?
You never know what you're going to get. Yeah.
or that it's like a 50-50, whichever way is 50-50, because we don't know what John's doing yet. So
I don't
Dave
even
and
know what I'm doing
it's
yet.
Dave and I, which is how we are on my screen right now. And then it's
And then the wild cards.
yeah.
And I may be on and literally, I may be turned around on it. Maybe because I've
No.
watched these two movies, maybe
Oh, you'll realize
it'll
that.
rise to the top of the pile after watching the two movies we just watched.
I promise you it'll scratch the Cage like itch, if anything. At least like
Exactly.
what we've all been talking about. If
Yeah.
anything, I would think of all these movies, this
Yeah.
one will satisfy that the reason we're doing this, if anything.
Right.
Just got to set that expectation thing. You just got to set it just right.
I've got to get better at that, John. I've had my heart broken so many times, but I keep trying to love.
You know,
that's my problem.
You just got to let that heart shrivel up and die, and you'll feel a little bit better.
We'll all be better off. But I will say, to your point, Jamie, that there is nothing about Drive Angry that annoys me because of Cage. It's all her. Like
Okay. Can you not separate because the thing is, I saw this well before that, so I've just ignored it ever since. I get it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
like if we're watching like Seven, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of something with someone atrocious in it or whatever.
Yeah. To your point, the whole Baby Driver movie, can't watch that anymore.
Yeah. So so I still do, even though that whole thing with her, I kind of forget it's even her. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But
yeah. So again, I'll enjoy the Cage. I'll just have to try and ignore her while she's in 90% of the movie. So, well, that's just because I'm just a He-Man woman hater. You know me. I'm
obviously
ultra masculine. Anti-feminist. You
sounds
know how
just like you. Yeah, this is exactly how I describe you to all my friends.
Just so you know,
he's a problem. That's what Jamie says.
He has strong opinions on stuff.
So I do have a Dave's Critter Corner this week, and I did because Jamie's going to be disappointed. I'll just lead it off the corner. I didn't do the wolves because we had just done the wolves on the American Werewolf in London. Same wolves.
I missed that one.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about the big dire wolves on that one, and these wolves deserve better. So I'm not.
They absolutely do.
I'm not going to talk about the CGI wolves. I did. There was one piece of dialogue that piqued me because I'm a horse boy. So we're going to talk about the medieval heavy war horses, because it's interesting when Perlman and Cage are getting to the little village and they're trying to buy horses to, continue their journey. And like they're looking at the farm horses and saying, these horses can't carry all of our gear. We need real horses. And it reminded me of, medieval heavy war horses are a totally different thing. They were as valuable as being landowners. Like if you had a war horse, it was as if you had land. It changed your whole social position if you were able to have that. They're differentiated from, regular agricultural horses in that they're not necessarily bigger. Everybody thinks that they're taller, stronger, and sometimes that's the case. But the thing that differentiates with the war horses, and we talked a little bit about this, y'all might not remember when I talked about the Appaloosas on the Trimmers, which was a war horse among the tribe that bred them. But war horses were more prized because of their thick muscular build, and they're really short-footed, very intelligent, and very fearless. Like it's the difference between having an animal that is bred to haul and carry stuff, or pull a wagon, like the cart horses in this, the ones that carry the cage. A war horse is a totally different thing. You don't use them the same way. They would be equivalent to today's military. In today's military is probably a state-of-the-art tank in battle. Like that's how valuable they were to armies back then. Each kingdom, it was interesting when I did a little research, every kingdom in Europe and the Middle East, they protected and kept very secret their breeding practices and the bloodlines for the horses that they had for the military, because it would be like current, top secret weapons. Like you wouldn't want anybody else to know how you breed your horses, how you train your horses and all that, because they were your military strength. They were the thing that they did. The Knights Templar are interesting, which is what Perlman and Cage, they're part of the Crusade. They are Knights Templar. That's why they have the the tunics and the swords with the insignia on them, they are actually part of the Knights Templar. The real Knights Templar, they actually had as many rules about the care of their horses and how they're to be used in the field as they do on how to do prayer and worship. As the church's knights, they valued the horses as much as they did the church, which I found interesting. Like they had a bunch of rules about how you were supposed to do it as a knight. And then the last point I have on them is that one of the key ways that the Muslim nations actually beat the crusade back, like ran the Templars and the Crusaders out of the Middle East and out of Turkey and Italy and Spain, is by destroying their horses. Like they knew that if they could steal their horses, so they would hire bandits to go into the camps and just steal the horses. They wouldn't kill anybody or even mess with the soldiers at all. They would just steal all the horses. And then you have a bunch of European guys in heavy plate armor and all this stuff that are on foot. Like they become almost completely useless at that point. If you take the horses away from them, they can't do anything.
Wow.
So that's the medieval heavy horse. So there you go. I had and they're still called, any of the heavy horse or war horse breeds that we still have are what are called warm bloods. You have cool bloods, which are what we know of as like cowboy horses and agricultural horses. Then you have hot bloods, which you've seen, like the Budweiser horses that they have, the giant horses that are just, the Clydesdales or the Belgians and all those that are specifically bred to be giant animals that carry heavy loads. Warm bloods are what the war horses were, and they're like Dracainers and those kind of breeds where they're actually now it is a height thing and a build thing. Like they're just bigger, but they're also very agile animals. Why can't I think of the other name? Dracainers are the ones that I trained when I was into it. Anyway, y'all don't care. I'm the only one. I'm listening to myself talk and realizing that y'all don't care.
Well,
I appreciate
we can't help you. You're like, what's the name? Like, where? John and I cannot
I have no idea. I'm very interested. It's all interesting, Dave. Your research is well thought out and well done. So
I just like talking about horses every once in a while. So, and the horses were more interesting to me in this than the wolves were. So that's why.
Hey, I can't say I couldn't agree with you more.
So we don't know what the campfire tale it will be about. I have a pretty good idea, but I would be farting in the wind if I actually told you what it would be about. I have no guess. Wasn't told by our Mole King, so you'll just have to listen, just like last time. Keep listening, and you'll find out next week what the campfire tale is on. We do appreciate you listening. We hope you have as much fun as you do, and I think what specifically the block that John's put together with me is sometimes it doesn't matter what movie you watch, it's who you watch it with and the conversations you get out of there. So, to our audience, we encourage you to go watch a stupid movie with your friends, just so you can have the memory of, because you'll have references that nobody else gets. I guarantee you there's nobody else in this world that I can make Season of the Witch jokes to that they would even know what the hell I was talking about. But you two do now.
Or let's not forget face fucking monster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a phrase that is just for us now. That's because I don't think everybody would appreciate it as much as y'all would, right?
Probably not.
So we do thank you for listening. If you do enjoy our podcast, we certainly would appreciate you subscribing, rating the show, give us some comments, share with your friends. If this is something that you're enjoying, tell others about us. We'd love to start growing some of the audience. We are very thankful we have been growing, but we'd love to have you brag on what we're doing around here, because I know it's nonsense. I know it's goofy, but it's goofy in a fun way. It's not goofy in any sort of harmful way. I would hope if we have harmed anybody, please let us know. We'll apologize. I think we've harmed ourselves more. This is a self-harm kind of thing that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about our hosts or what we're doing here at the Wicked Wild, or what sort of the ideology of our podcast is, you can go to our website, thewickedwild.com, and learn all that stuff. You can see some book reviews, some film reviews that we've put on there as well. If you want to follow us on social media and see some of the stuff that I referenced earlier, where we kind of tease out what the next reviews are going to be, you can do that on Instagram at Wicked Wild Pod, or X at Wicked Wild We Are, or Slasher, which is the horror only community, at Wicked Wild We Are there as well. If you want to see our smiling faces, or if you just prefer consuming your podcast in a video format, we are on YouTube, and we are on YouTube as a podcast. I've made sure we're designated that way so it goes into those feeds for people. Just search us, the Wicked Wild Podcast, and you can subscribe, and you'll get notifications every week of the next video. And I will say, I have enjoyed watching some of the videos back because the video just hits different with some of the stuff that we're doing on here. So give it a try sometime. And you can give us a comment on there as well. If you have any questions or feedback or comments or ideas you want us to consider, you can send me an email at podcast, podcast, at thewickedwild.com. And that's all I've got, except for one question from my buddy John.
Ooh.
So why didn't the angry witch escape on a broomstick?
I don't know, Dave. Why?
Because she kept flying off the handle.
Oh.
Y'all have a good night.